Hello there, collectors. It is Steven here once again with another Rampage review for you. Now we've done Lizzie, we have done Ralph. It's time to round it off with George, and this is his canister contact set. So this is supposed to be the Bab form of George we see in the movie right before things go haywire, and we get what we know as Rampage. But for this set, we get a smaller George figure and some other knickknacks. Is it worth the purchase? Well, let's take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. So to start the video off, we're going to do the same thing we've done for the last Rampage videos, and we're going to take a look at the packaging. So here on the front of the box, we get a nice window, so this way we can look into George's little world, and we can see everything that he comes with, which includes the enclosure. We get the rock, we get a canister, more on that later, and we get some things for the rock to hold. On the back of the box, it's just some promotional shots and blurbs along with a synopsis of the movie, so if you want to read that, go ahead and click on pause now because it's the same for all the boxes. Alrighty? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at George first because that's why everyone is here. Now, George is pretty straightforward with detailing and paint applications. And to be honest, he really just kind of looks like an albino silverback gorilla. Nothing really too over-the-top impressive here, except they really did a nice job on the fur and making it look somewhat believable for the price point and in this format. The only thing that I'm going to have to say that they didn't do a really great job of would be the face and the eyes. I think he kind of looks more like a gremlin or something like that. And the eyes, they kind of look, well, bootleggish. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with that for the best word to describe that. But other than that, aside from the seams on the arms, which we're going to take a look at in a second to see exactly why those are there, or why they shouldn't be there, the figure does look nice. The stomach and the chest on the torso, fantastic shading. We can actually see there's a differentiation between that and the rest of the fur. The pink undertones with the white dry brushing is fantastic. Overall, George looks great, and he even has a nice monkey butt. Now, the thing about George here is that he doesn't move at all. So those cuts that you see on his biceps, they're there for quite literally no reason. And he's going to be stuck in this pose. So you want to know what this George is good for? A paperweight. Yeah, pretty much. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. So instead of a generic army man like the rest of the figures, George comes with The Rock. That's right, we get Dwayne Johnson here. And as you'll see in the articulation section, he is actually updated from the other army dudes that we have gotten, so that's very nice to see. The likeness is pretty spot on comparative to Sammy Jackson in the Kong Skull Island product lineup, so that's pretty good. Now, when it comes to the articulation, we pretty much get everything that we've had before, except mine does have quite a loose leg. And instead of a normal bicep swivel, we get it at the elbow, and we get a ball-jointed waist. So that is really neat if you're into that sort of thing for your smaller G.I. Joe-like figure. So yeah, very cool there. Now, if we're going to take the Rock into the jungle, or at least the concrete jungle, then we're going to need some weapons. So as you can see here, the Rock comes with what looks like a backpack. He gets a walkie-talkie and a canteen, at least that's what it looks like. He gets one knife, and he gets a gun. So we have all of the essentials here, all in gold plastic, except for the orange tip, so that's really cool. The backpack just plugs into the hole on his back, and then you can get him to hold the rest of the items in his hands just like normal. Now, what's also really cool is that this is Bab George, like I said before, so he's still technically in captivity. So in the canister contact set, we get this nice little somewhat enclosure for George to hide in. Yeah, it's really cool. The detailing is very nice. It's casted in a green plastic and it has some dry brushing, so this way you can actually pay attention to and see the details, which is always a nice thing to have. We also have that nice decal right there, and boy, I wonder what the licensing rights and fees for that involved. Whew, yeah. So the cool thing about this is that you can actually swap those door parts around, so this way you can create your own sort of enclosure if you want. So if you even wanted to pick up another canister contact set for George, then you can have an even larger enclosure, and you would have 2 Georges and 2 Rocks, or 3 if you get the Mega George. Anyway, yeah, that's the whole point of this. Now the last thing is that this George does come with a canister that I lost. Yeah. So in the process of opening everything up and putting it away for reviews, this way I can easily grab it, I lost George's canister and I don't know where it's at. That's why it's a good thing I took a picture of the sealed product box, so that way at least you can see or get an idea of what the canister looks like. So yeah, sorry about that. If I do happen to find it though, I will post a picture of it on my Instagram, so I will follow through with my promise on that. So anyway, George comes with a lot of neat stuff to set up a nice display to make it look like he is, well, on display in the zoo. And here's a look at the Canister Contact George alongside the Big City Brawl George. As you can see, there are clear differences not only in the size, but of the sculpt. Whether or not that is a result of the sculptors or the fact that he might change throughout the movie. Now, you're going to notice something. There's one other figure here that's missing. That's because I'm going to save that shot for the review for that one. All right? All right. So to wrap everything up, here's a size comparison with all three of the Canister Contact figures, alongside some other ones you might have on your shelf. And as you can see, like I've said before, this is a nice stand-in for your 6-inch display. However, this will not be the definitive version of George that we do see in the movie, the one that we'll all come to know and love, hopefully. So it's unfortunate that we're not going to be able to have a larger, fully mutated George in this size. Bandai, are you listening? Yeah. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. George is nice, aside from maybe the creepy looking face and the fact that he can't move, but all the other accessories do balance it out for the price point. Do I think this one is worth it? I think it's a little bit better than Ralph's set and not as good as Lizzie's, but at the end of the day, it is a nice purchase if you're into the things that Leonard has made to build that universe, and if you're a Rampage fan. Overall, though, I do have to say, go into this with a little bit of a lowered expectation, and I think you'll come out on top. Not bad, but I do think that this is not necessarily the best of the 3 George figures released for Rampage so far. Spoilers on the best one, it's probably going to be the Mega George. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links, like the credits for this video, and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.